The place of truth in every society. That's an element of nation building. The place of truth in any society. You see, for you to be able to build a nation and build a society, there is a place of the truth. And what is the truth? The truth is the truth. It is the factual representation of what is occurring in the society, be it good or bad. But you see, for every society, there are people that constantly fight for the soul of society. And when they fight for the soul of society, they want to always dominate the narrative of what represents the truth in a society. Underline that word. And you see, for further reading on this segment, you can go and read The Road to Serfdom by Hayek. It's a very powerful expository book. So, the truth of the matter is, in building a society and the road to nationhood, there's a stranglehold for the truth. And people will do anything to fight for the position of the truth. But it's incumbent on you to not be deceived on what the truth is. You see, in a bid to be able to manipulate your understanding of what the truth is, the first thing people deliberately do, or some people that want to stranglehold the society, they take away the capacity for discernment which comes from education. And that's why I go and look. The very first thing most people try to take away is the weaponized ignorance and the weaponized poverty. And they try to blacklist people that point out the weaponization of ignorance and poverty in every society. Go and see it. Go and check. There are many nations to that effect. They weaponize poverty because they know that you can't demand that level of accountability if your standards are poor and low. People also weaponize ignorance because they know that if your standards are poor and low, you can't be able to demand that level of accountability. And this is done deliberately. And trust me, it is deliberately done as a chain reaction to take away the factual evidence of what the truth is from every society. And no matter how much people try, it doesn't negate the fact that what the truth is the truth and remains the truth. Try. It doesn't negate but a lot of people will try as much as possible to also now manipulate you on that capacity of what the truth is. Because you see, in the struggle for a nation's soul, those that oppress other people always think of their ideals and how they perpetrate their ideals. Those that oppress other people only think of their ideals and how they perpetrate their ideals. See, this message is going to be one of the most important messages you ever listen to. It's always about their ideals and how they perpetrate their ideals. But an ideal of a select group of people does not necessarily mean a societally beneficial ideal. An ideal of a select group of people does not necessarily mean a societally beneficial ideal. An ideal of a select group of people is based at a point, at an inflection point of what benefits themselves and how they can use the paraphernalia of society to be able to upgrade themselves. So in balancing out a society, there is the fight for what determines the truth. And trust me, the very first thing a man of ideal will do is he will lie to defend his own ideal rather than the collective good of every societal development. So he doesn't care about the collective development of every society. What he cares about is to perpetrate his own ideals, which are really about him. And when he does that, every other person will have to bow to him. So there is a constant fight for the truth. So there's a clear case of gaslighting and people telling you things that happened never happened. As it is represented everywhere. When Donald Trump did his inauguration in America, and they said there was no crowd, he propounded something called alternative facts. He propounded something called alternative facts. Kelly Ann Conway, his spokesperson, said it is alternative facts. The truth is the truth. But you see, there's going to be a stranglehold for what determines the truth in society. Because everybody, especially those that are not in your collective interest, also want to have the monopoly of the truth. And people, they don't say it like that, they will assassinate their character. And that's why I'm not surprised that there's a deliberate attempt to assassinate my own character. But I don't care. Because everything I say to you is the result of the injunction and the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. A man that will do anything for his ideals will assassinate others' characters. Because why? He wants to always tell you that he is the one you should believe. Because he wants to condition what you believe for his own personal benefits and gains. So for every society, there's a struggle for what determines the truth. And you see, every nation of the world are going through these struggles. Is it not Hitler and the likes of his propaganda machine and Goebbels that started to determine what was the truth in Germany and said it was acceptable to kill Jewish people? Look at the likes of Hitler's mentor. Hitler had a mentor, Dietrich, I forget his name now. I'll get his name. Dietrich, I'll get his name out. I just Googled his name out. Dietrich something, Dietrich Hackert. Yeah, Dietrich Hackert. So it was because the likes of Dietrich Hackert put in this indoctrination in this young Adolf Hitler that made him do all the things he did, because they feel that their ideological slant of going against the truth that you must have an inclusive society should be about terminating the Jews. So for every society, there's going to be a fight for the truth and what constitutes the truth. And you see, people that want to fight for this, they will fight for it ruthlessly with anything. The first thing they do for their own ideals, not necessarily the ideals of everybody or collective development, is to lie about their ideals. So when people come in and brazenly lie and say, oh, something that happened did not happen, we should be able to see them for what they are. And secondly, they will assassinate the character of other people that upholds the truth. Because you see, the truth is the truth. There are no sides to it. But once people try to second guess your mindset about what constitutes the truth, then it's always for their own ideal. See, a lot of you, this message will not mean anything to you now. But in the coming days, you will understand the role the truth plays in every society. People will do anything to challenge the truth. They will build big media empires to be able to challenge the capacity of the truth. They will manipulate others. And they will have the money to buy the paraphernalia to challenge the truth. Even institutions that are supposed to uphold the truth will also be suspect. And it's always been the case. Look at America, for instance. Prior to former president of America demanded some level of accountability, Rutherford Hayes, every institution was led by what they call spoils men, people that their own political spoils was to be able to take political positions. Kenny P, I see you. Stephen Poundfinder, I see you. Femi Adeola, I see you. Orose Hagi, I see you. Stephen Poundfinder, I see you. Thank you guys so much. A lot of people, you can join us on YouTube Live. Impact with RUFAI OSENI on YouTube Live. Powerful. So people will fight for this understanding of what the truth is. And they will use every paraphernalia to recruit you for their own personal ideals that is against your whims and caprices. Do not forget that it's about their own incumbent capacity and capability, not really about you. And when you fall for them, they will turn the truth on its head and turn it into a lie. They will tell you that what happened before your eyes did not happen. That's another concept of fighting the truth called gaslighting. Evidences will be removed and you'll be told, show me the evidence. So, in the fight for the soul of the society, there's an incumbent fight for the capacity of what the truth is. And those that stand up for it but because the oppressors have their own ideas, they will character assassinate those that stand up for it. They will discredit. They will use all forms of coercion to be able to make their truth not truth enough. Because you see, one of the fundamental points in every society will be about who wins the truth argument. Who wins the moral argument? And in most cases, it is the man that can pay for the loudest vuvuzela, which is the media, that wins the moral argument. And when they see that their voices rising up for the independence of the truth, they try to stifle those voices. And in fact, they will use regulatory authorities to try to fight those voices. When people tell the truth on the radio, they say, no, you have no right to say it. When people tell the truth on the television, they say, no. They will say you are not professional. They will say you are too emotional. They will say don't talk. will say you should espouse the concept of neutrality when neutrality itself is a farce. When you objectively speak the truth, they will say, no, be neutral. When they are saying, please be neutral, it means that they want you to lie. When they are saying, please be balanced, it means that they want you to lie. Because when you say, okay, give me the balanced argument to the fact that a man killing another human being is wrong, they will say, maybe he provoked him. But is that the balanced argument? What is the logical cut-through conversation is that a man killing another human being is wrong. So, in the coming days, you will see a clear attempt to take the truth away. In fact, the truth will be kidnapped. And they'll ask you to negotiate for the freedom of the truth. And a lot of people will fall for it. Why? Because hitherto, there's been a weaponization of poverty and weaponization of ignorance. And let me tell you, see, that gives you empirical facts. But most importantly, it is a trained mind that can discern the truth for themselves. And that's why you should be circumspect in the coming days. And that's the every word that goes up in society. Have you ever wondered? Hitler hardly met most of the soldiers that fought for him. But it was through a radio means he spoke to millions of them. And he decided to kill for an ideal that was his own personal ideal. So when you see these acts, do not be deceived. A lot of them will come, they will abuse, they will discredit, but it doesn't nullify what the truth is the truth. It doesn't nullify the truth. And you see tons of people in every society are so scared of the capacity of what the truth is. So they do everything to fight it. And it is always about the highest bidder. It's about how well people can be paid. It's about how well mindsets can be shaped. But when you look at the grand plan, it is always about the ideals of a few, not a collective ideal. But the part of the conversation that a lot of people fail to realize is that most of the time, if you do not educate yourself and educate your mind, you will be lost in the quandary of what becomes the truth. Just like we build a society that some people have constantly started to tell us now that being a Yahoo boy is no big deal. But you forget that in a hurry, our society used to be a society of integrity, but because people have tried to change the narrative, and so-called Yahoo boy and criminal fraudulent people are the ones being celebrated in society because of money. So once we do that, we start to change the society. And that's why you see that there is a brazen confidence for people to have association of mothers of Yahoo boys in our society. And you know why this has become obvious? Because there's been a weaponization of poverty. And there's been a systemic destruction of capacities. And once that happens, a lot of people start to subject themselves to the whims and caprices of who has the highest vuvuzela. And they blow it. So, I am not surprised. All I'm just doing is opening your eyes to it. Because it's not only here it happens everywhere. The first struggle for what becomes the society is the struggle for what becomes the truth. The truth is backed up by facts and evidence. And let me tell you something. Interests are even deeper than political parties. It is a delusion for you to think that select interests is subservient to political parties. I think in a matter of time, you'll get to understand that. But that does not take away the fact that there's a fight for what is right. Just like the narrative of corruption have been pushed so much now, that do you know currently today in Nigerian society, there's a normalization of corruption. And it's so bad that if you go to a public office and you don't steal money, it's your own family members that would abuse you and say you are stupid. You don't see what your mates they do for them. But that doesn't make corruption right. That narrative is not true, but today they've been able to skew that narrative. Why? Because that same corrupt person can give anybody money to shut up their mouths. And truly, they say every man has a price. If you have a price, that means you never had value in the first place. If you have a price, that means you never have value in the first place. I think your capacity should be that of a priceless person. If you have a price, that means you never had value in the first place. Because true value is priceless. So, the fight for the truth is a fight every society will have to fight for. There will be custodians, and there will be barbarians at the gate. In every society, in the fight for what is true, there will be custodians, and there will be barbarians at the gates. There will be barbarians at the gates. Yes. And they will be waiting. So the question is, would you have the discernment to know enough to know the difference between the custodians and the barbarians at the gates? And let me tell you one thing about what the barbarians at the gates of truth always do. They are the ones that act as the custodians the most. They are the ones that are quick to say others do not know the truth. In fact, they are the ones that can even use the regulatory agency to regulate what the truth is. In fact, they are the ones. And you see, another example of what the barbarians at the gates do, they are the ones that play the pick and choose the most. If the narrative suits them, it's a good narrative. If it doesn't suit them, it's a bad narrative. So the same RUFAI that a lot of them are criticizing today is the same RUFAI that they will take his video when he interviews a Labour Party deputy governorship candidate and start to trend it and say, yes, RUFAI is a good journalist. But when RUFAI asks that same question from their own candidate, it becomes problematic. So that's the pick and choose analogy. They're the ones that call you bias. But when you say narrative that suits them, they pick and choose. I'm not surprised at character assassination. As long as you're on the path of telling the truth, I expect my character to be maligned even more. I expect it. I'm not surprised. It will only happen even more. But it's not going to stop me. So be careful. Because in the coming days, you will see it. And please, all these things I'm trying to take, don't take my word for it. You just be a very good silent observer, and you will see it play out. I have never come to tell you that I have all the truth, but observe it, and you will see it play out. It is the lies we exalt in this country. You know something is a lie, then you venerate and worship it. Even the religious bodies are not left out sometimes. Anyway, I'm not judge of anybody, but I think we need to ask ourselves clear questions. I hope there are not many pastors out there that God will not ask that. I send you message. But you see, the thing about our God is a democratic God. So the truth will be attacked. They will attack people. But you see, the most important thing about every society is the growth of that society. And we forget in a hurry that we are but a passing phase in every society. I can't live forever. The best we can do is to inspire the next generation with the work we do. And the question is, how can we make this society better than we met it? Because that's the most important question every generation will be asked. How can this society be better than we left it? And is it the best possible solutions to the problem of the society we are given? See, for once, I don't care any political party that gives the solution. All I want is the society should have those solutions to the problem. If the APC gives it, I will support them. If the PDP gives it, I will support them. If Labour Party gives it, I will support them. If SDP gives it, I will support them. All I just want is for Nigeria to be able to compete effectively among the Committee of Nations and do well. And it is only the truth that can make our society do well. Because if we don't speak the truth, our society cannot do well. And I don't care so much for political party divides. I care for institutional developments. You see, because the reason why we've even given up on our country is not really because of the politicians. It's because of the institutional corruption. I have interviewed many politicians that will tell you that, who taught me how to be corrupt? The civil servants. Civil service. So I think in part of the truth is how we can make our institutions better. And how we should also understand that the best of us should also be able to go into our service institutions. So because when we look at it holistically, it's deeper than political lines. It's whoever tries to summon up his own ego that uses the elements. But the thing is, if institutions are strong, you can't just be able to use the elements of state for your own coercion. That was what Donald Trump realized. Most of the judgments were against him in court. And those are the understanding of states we need to understand. If the institutions are strong, then there's no problem. The electoral, the judicial, every institution needs to be strong. And that's the context of the truth of every society, because in the fight for the truth, we need to be able to extrapolate the conversation. When we do our pick and choose ideology, we also need to be able to challenge and introspect and say, what is the collective developmental stride of the institutions as regards the nation? Because when we say we want political power should just be overseers of hitherto established institutions to run the nation. Because look at it. We complain about government and governance. We complain about one politician. Budgets every year. Who does this budget go to? Is it not the thousands of ministry and departments of government, MDAs? Who are those in those MDAs to execute those contracts for the benefit of the people? Are they not civil servants? So when the work is not done, who signs up on the contract? So until we start having a truth enough, so strong in society, that a civil servant will tell a politician that, see, the contract is not completed, sir, I can't sign it. And even if the politician says, okay, come and take $50,000, he says, no, sir, then the society will not work. And that's the truth of what a lot of people are running away from in society. So they tell you the other narrative of a lie that, oh, politician is so powerful, it will remove you from your job. You see, that's the dichotomy. And that's why I tell you, there will always be barbarians at the gate. In fact, some of the time, the barbarians at the gate are us, the citizens. You know how we, the citizens, have become the barbarians at the gate? Because we've been given a lot of trickle-down false narrative that you can't challenge those in power. So we vehemently defend them when we even know what they are doing is wrong. So we, the citizens, sometimes we become barbarians at the gates. We, the citizens, sometimes that don't even know anything about what is happening, we become barbarians at the gate because of tribalism. You don't become objective enough, and all you say is, oh, I will defend that person because it's from my tribe. You can see the controversy going on now about Lagos. When you hear some people sound off in the argument, they are just sounding off that way because they feel, oh, Yorubahood is threatened. But you see, like Bob Marley says, when will you emancipate yourself from mental slavery? None but ourselves can free our minds. So we the people, sometimes that ought to be custodians, largely most of the time, because of our own selfish belief, sentimental belief, nepotistic outlook, tribal indoctrination, we become the barbarians at the gates. The tons of people that argue with you and abuse you when you try to tell them the truth, I can bet you they don't even have any political affiliation to the person they support. But probably because the person is from their own ethnic group, and that's just it. If you think I am lying, ask them what is written in the ideology of the person. What does the person stand for? That's when you see they start to, they can't say anything. So because of our bias, bigotry, outlook, we become barbarians at the gates. When we are supposed to become custodians of the society. You see, one of the biggest problems with the assault on the truth in Nigeria is that because of money, a lot of custodians have become barbarians at the gates. And a country where you have too many barbarians at the gates, it's just a matter of time before public discourse starts to die. And when public discourse dies, nepotism takes over. And let me tell you, it's already happening in Nigeria. And that's why Dwight Eisenhower said that a nation that values privilege over purpose will soon lose both. In all of this, have the barbarians and the custodians even sat down to ask, what is the purpose of Nigeria? What is it? What is it? But you see, society keeps going around these trickles because there's a fight for the truth. Custodians are standing tall, while barbarians also are standing tall because of, for every reason, shenanigan possible. But the barbarians forget that the long-term effect of the activity on society will make the society barbaric. And when the society becomes barbaric, the barbarians are the ones that are quickest to say, no, this is bad. Or, in some cases, they go along as long as it favors them. But what the barbarians fail to realize is the fact that when society starts to go down, it haunts all of us. Are we not all paying the price for high inflation now? Are we not all paying the price for economic mismanagement? Are we not all paying the price for insecurity? The barbarians and the custodians are paying it. Somebody sent me a message, I said, barbarians prefer to eat from the crumbs that are left over. Yes, even if the barbarians are eating from the crumbs of their masters, inflation too is eating with them in the same pots. It will get to a point, inflation will eat anything that the barbarians have left on their plates. If you think I'm lying, go and read Les Miserables. Poverty became so rife in the land that people had to sell their tooth to be able to buy food. injunction for you is a societal renewal. And how can we do this on the pedestal of the truth? At some point, we might all have become barbarians. So please don't get me wrong. It's not a bad thing to be a barbarian at a point. But the question is, do you want to remain a barbarian at the gates? Yes. Because of ethnic sentiment, because of filial relationship, you've all become barbarians. And you see, the so-called barbarians today, don't forget, they once started up as custodians. I can preach 1 year non-stop about barbarians and custodians. Most of the so-called barbarians today, at some points, they were the custodians of society. So the question is, what turned the custodians into barbarians? That's why you see the prism of the truth should stand tall. I'll take a couple of calls. I know this is a very, very long-lasting message. I know this is a powerful message, and this has set a lot of people on fire. 0700 903 903 903. I know this is a very powerful message. So I'll take a couple of calls. I'll take a couple of calls now. You're going to find out the podcast. It's going to be called The Search for the Truth. Hello.
Yeah, good morning, RUFAI. Thank you for picking my calls today. My name is Machiavelli. I'm calling from the United Kingdom.
God bless you, Maka.
Yeah, thank you. I saw what you were doing. I think whenever I watch you on Arise TV, it reminds me of people who have laid their life to say we must save humanity. And that's what Pan-Africans have done. Men and women who fought so much to make life easier for their fellow men. You have been doing it. And thank you so much for speaking the truth. We as society, we as citizens, we fail to realize that these people have used what you call oligarchy to suppress what the rule of law is and to suppress what is called institution that gives a government a proper way of managing its system. That is the two things these oligarchs used. And they've used it why our people never realized they were using it to change their way of thinking. When I left the shore of Nigeria, and immediately I stepped into the land I am living right now, I knew that the foundation of our system was wrong. Because the first day I stepped my leg, the institution is what checkmates me. It's the institution that makes me understand that I must follow what is happening here. Because otherwise, you get yourself into problems. Many of us, our leaders, they just deliberately break our laws, and we are even the people singing the praises for them. Because if these institutions were built to make sure it checkmates them, most of them would have been behind bars. But we still clap for them because they are giving us the peanuts which they have used in suffocating us. So my thing to Nigerians is, until you grow up and learn that the Constitution and the institution, these we are fundamental things that are supreme to every individual in a given political system. Otherwise, we'll be going nowhere. And I, as a Nigerian, I failed to educate my fellow brothers and sisters while I was back home. But the little I have now, I will use it to tell them we need to go back to the education and not the indoctrination these people are giving us. Until we listen to that education, we will never go anywhere.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for
so
giving me this opportunity.
And that's
God
why
bless
I
you.
keep telling a lot of you, we set up VOP out of blood, sweat, and tears. All right? Please, you got YouTube link there. You know how to donate. Just donate. Most of the money is to pay staff. Keep it running as much as possible. I tell people this is one of our offerings, you know, to be able to have collective conversations that would inspire somebody out there. And truth has to be told. I'm not surprised. Barbarians. It is a fine line between barbarians and custodians. Custodians of yesterday can be barbarians of today. Custodians of today, if they are not careful, can be barbarians of tomorrow. We just have to be careful and introspective and conquer ourselves every time and purge ourselves, like Plato says. I've seen too many custodians of yesterday become barbarians of today. Oh, they were the ones that fought for the human rights yesterday. They fought so hard. They were heroes of yesterday. But once state establishment came, they became the barbarians of today. I said we need to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning.
Great to have you.
Yes, sir. This is Mohammed.
Mohammed, yeah.
Yes, sir. Actually, I'm not with my radio. I'm just saying, let me try the number. So I don't know what, yeah.
Okay, maybe you listen again before you call back. It's a very powerful message we had. We're trying to load it up. The message should be on our podcast soon. It's called The Search for Truth in Society. The Search for Truth in Society. It's called The Search for Truth in Society. It's a powerful message. You can check it on RUFAI Speaks podcast. The Search for Truth in Society. Hello.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, Mr. RUFAI.
Morning, dear.
Yeah, I always enjoy you. You know the truth we prepare one day. It can be long. God is so patient. You know, if you look out before God take Pharaoh, which is all his knowledge and magic, it's a tire. I always enjoy you. But what I want you to know, that we cannot do it by force.
No.
No, let me finish, sir. If it is an advanced country, we can say old people, everybody will come out and protect. But you know, this thing, let's say everybody has wives now. There will be a time, you understand? The time we tell, he has been coming. Something will happen, a miracle. I understand what you say. You say Pastor Alpha. Even, you know, let me tell you, I'm 60 years of age. In this Nigeria before, you will see Arewa people. Everybody believes in Hausa, especially we Yoruba here. I don't understand, because we know when you see Hausa man that time, if you say yes, it's yes. And my father in Abeokuta, I don't understand. When these people come, we give them place. People, a Yoruba man, hold somebody, if he talk, they will say, only run here, I wish I put it for long while I lie, but it's not like that again. That means something has been changing. Then, I want to say one thing. We should not, because of position, and be spoiling ourselves. You know, I heard a program today in one radio about $16 billion. I have already said this thing, this and that. In 2019, in the campaign of APC, in that stadium, the president was telling us, if you vote for me, Obasanjo and some people, you know, the elected president is there. Majority of the APC giants, like the former governor, everybody, they are promising us, Obasanjo and some people are thrown 16 billion. That will always irritate me when they are talking. But today, the thing has been getting a light. I was saying now, I know Obasanjo has his own character. He has his own life. He has his own. You know, nobody can be perfect. That's 16 billion. When they are narrating it today, the thing is for the whole contract of the NEPA. I understand. Before Obasanjo left the place, he has never spent up to 8 billion. Do you understand? The we people that we are hearing that thing. Because for me, I always say, when Buhari no catch Obasanjo and collect the money, never no day, anything no day. That's what they are called. You know, we should not be faithful to ourselves. If you are a Muslim, be a Muslim. Don't be monophysitic. That's why I will remember one thing. Anybody who is a Muslim, we will know what I say now. You know, politicians, most of the politicians, they can never see heaven. That's why if you are a good human being, you want to have heaven. You don't go to politics. Because there are three things that God say, people, if you are a Christian, you should, a Muslim, you should not do it. You should not tell lies, Dabara. You should not deceive. When somebody is telling lies, it's Dabara.
Thank you.
Now, Hausa people, they will say Dabara. Let's use Dabara. Is Dabara a Muslim?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
But the only thing that I wish our people to do is three things that if God give a woman being, you will be succeed. Let's patient. God give what you make God give Nigeria. Because I was somewhere in Dubai, a Lebanese man was in Nigeria. I know Nigeria, they are so endurance. Do you understand? God give us the poor, give us patience, give us endurance. Then to give us the rhetoric that we believe in Him. The majority of the Christian and the Muslim just go to the church. They know where they are going again. They are ruling us with courtesy. I know that.
Okay, we need to go now. Thank you so much, sir. We need to take all the calls. There are so many calls coming in. 0700-903-9039. I've got a guest coming up. I'll be putting on the line very soon. You know, I've got a guest coming on very soon. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Morning, how are you? Bless you.
I'm fine. This is Madam Rachel from Aurora, Colorado.
Okay, bless you, man.
Thank you for all you are doing.
Bless you.
You will live long.
Amen.
Truth is always constant.
Yes.
Only truth that will deliver us in this very situation we find ourselves. INEC chairman, you collected court injunction so that you will do what to the beaver. It was granted to you. You obey it. Peter Obi, on behalf of Nigeria, collected court injunction to get the data from the beaver before you format it or do what? You are refusing. You are finding our trouble, oh. You are finding our trouble. If you people really want peace to reign in Nigeria,
Okay.
you better give us the information we are looking for.
Okay.
Because the truth must prevail in this matter on fact. Truth must prevail. And to the Nigerian youth, it is your destiny we are talking about here. So I will advise you guys and I encourage you guys. You should stand tall to fight this battle to the end. The battle on ground, INEC chairman, is not between you and Labour Party. No. It is between you and our youth. And it is our youth destiny that is at stake here. When they were babies, you tell them the young shall grow. When they were babies, you told them children are the leaders of tomorrow. And today, they have grown up. And they want to obtain leadership position for which you have told them as a child that they will become. And you people are saying no. The mandate in your hand is a coal or hot fire in your hand. You will drop it by force, by fire.
Okay, let the courts decide all of that. That's all I can say. Thank you so much. We need to take Okay, we need to take all the calls. Your points have been made. Let the court decide it since the case is in court. So you can't determine what the mandate is in somebody's house since the case is in court. We'll take one or two more calls. Then I called somebody up this morning. And if I can stretch it, I'll call somebody else. I got a call. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hello, good morning. You're speaking with Peter from Belgium.
Peter from Belgium. Talk to me. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, Rufai, first and foremost, good morning. I want to thank you for all you have been doing. I always follow you, I always check on you, and you are really a man of the truth. You are really a man of the truth. I love that. I want you to continue. Yeah, because those politicians, that is my own view. Those politicians in Nigeria, they are the evil of the Nigerian people. That is the reason you see that is Nigerian people, they are going to church, they are praying, doing fasting. It's not working for them. Because the politicians, they already hold them, they already target them, because they are the evils of the Nigerian people. Because they lie, they never said the truth. Look at what INEC did this last time. This is a broad daylight. Criminal, you see that somebody is robbing you in the broad daylight. In short, that is, it was unbelievable. Really unbelievable. Because all those things have to change. Because a country where there is no truth, that country will never move forward. Look at the people who are coming out. They have analog brain. They don't know nothing. Let the people drive the country. The youth, the people that have a vision, let them drive the country. And those people, if I look at it, how I summarize it, you know, they used to make parable that when I was in Nigeria that time, they said that you can see the system. The system of Nigeria is like a man who has the children. This old man, the children have already been growing up, and is using, is suppressing his children. Those children, they don't want to grow, and they call it. They will say, "Oh, that man is a witch. He doesn't allow his children to grow." This is what all those old politicians are doing to the youth of the Nigeria now. They are suppressing the youth, saying that you people will not grow. You people will not grow. That is what they are doing.
Okay, thank you so much for your views. Let me take one more call because I have a guest coming up. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much.
Really appreciate you. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning, Mr. Rufai.
Morning. What's the name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Mr. Frederick, and I'm calling from Belgium.
You Belgian people are too plenty here today. Belgium.
Mr. Rufai, you are one in a million. I've been following your TV show, and I really so much love the way you handle your things. You're a real professional person. May God bless you and give you guidance.
Go straight ahead real quickly so that we can...
Yeah, what I want to say is that apart from the issue we're going through right now, a court case, if this federal government was supposed to have come into this, all this would have been ended by now. This president, if the president saw that the court case was given and INEC refuses that court case, that means that INEC chairman should have been arrested immediately because the Nigerian people are watching. And since this election was rigged, this is whereby this INEC chairman should come down and say, yes, okay, this election has been rigged, okay, and there are things that didn't go so well. And then the Nigerian people will understand that this INEC chairman is for the people.
All right, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah, okay. So I met, hello, Ifeanyi, how are you? Good. So I normally have lunch, with my mentor almost every time. So I was with my mentor, which is my boss, a woman, and I met Ifeanyi yesterday. And Ifeanyi, I know I said I took your number. I said I was going to amplify your case. And, you know, as the Spirit led me, I just said, let me call you this morning so you can state your case. Your case is in court anyway, but you also deserve to be heard, you know. And I also have another lawyer that will be joining me on the show today. He's the lawyer that took INEC to court over being able to use his temporary voter's card to vote. I also have him on the show. But great to have you, Ifeanyi. Your name fully, and what is your story, Ifeanyi? Because you participated in this electoral process.
Yes, I did. My name is Ifeanyi.
I'm sorry I surprised you. I didn't tell you I was going to call you before now. You know,
my name is Ifeanyi Ararume.
Yes.
I was the Labour Party candidate for Imo North Senatorial District.
Okay. So you were a Labour Party candidate in this last election, right?
Yes.
Senatorial candidate.
Just held, I think, 2 weeks ago now.
So you ran for the position of Senate. So Ifeanyi, what is your story? Tell me bit by bit what really happened.
Well, what happened was that on the day of the elections, first of all, the materials didn't arrive on time because 2 days to the election, the REC, Imo State REC, Professor Sylvia Ago, had addressed the media and made it known that most of the coppers, in fact, all the coppers that were posted to Okigwe LGA, which is the senatorial headquarters of the zone, all the coppers posted to Okigwe LGA had rescinded their decisions and have abandoned posts. So she was frantically trying to see how they could cover up over 100 coppers. So that day of the elections, the materials came in very late. We started very late across the zone, I believe by 12 noon. And by 4 o'clock, we were done. The results started coming in from almost all the local governments at about 6 o'clock. The unit agents were, posting the results, and clearly, overwhelmingly, we were winning everywhere in both the senatorial, the House of Rep, and the presidential elections. But at about 9 o'clock on Sunday, we started hearing that figures were being changed in Okigwe local government and in Obo local government. Obo local government is the local government of the PDP candidate. We started hearing figures being changed, figures being written, and probably, I'm sure most Nigerians will agree with me that both the APC and the PDP are almost one. That also triggered what I would call a rigging promax by APC in Okigwe, especially in the 7 units where the INEC told us elections were not going to hold. We started seeing figures in areas like Ihube. Ihube right now is probably the most dangerous place to be in Nigeria.
Why? I'm sorry to cut you in. Why did INEC tell you people that election was not going to hold in 7 units?
They told us elections were not going to hold because of the insecurity. There's the issue of the female captain in the Nigerian army. She's been held somewhere in Ihube. The former deputy governor of my state, Engineer Bero Dagu, died and couldn't be buried in Ihube. It took lots of situation, security deployment before he could be buried. A week to the election, the present commissioner for sports in Imo State, his house was razed down about a week to the election. So it's a place that has been deserted. INEC has also considered a few days to the election, bringing the whole of Okigwe local government to the stadium to vote because of insecurity. But the fear of litigation compelled them to rescind that decision. If not, they had considered bringing everybody in Okigwe local government to the Okigwe stadium and then have security cordon off that area, provide buses to bring in people from various villages to come and vote. But they started getting threats of litigation from PPP and other parties that they were going to take them to court. So they rescinded that decision. But Ihube and all those areas, we were told that elections were not going to take place there because of insecurity. We now later found out that results were being written with the help of the EO. Fictitious results, 7,000 people in Ihube voting, 10,000 people in Aku voting, 15,000 people in Ezinachi voting. These are places where people have all abandoned. And it would be good if anyone can even visit that area and see that there's no life in those areas. So that is exactly what happened. We had the elections won, and it was stolen away from us.
Okay. So at first, you said most of the NYSC members said they were not going to serve. Is it because of insecurity reasons, right?
Yes, the NYSC, about 100 of them who went to that area, few days to the elections, said they were not going to go there, that their lives were at risk. The REC did all she could to persuade the NYSC coordinator in Imo State that they should change their mind. But the coordinator said no. This is a public, it was made in public, it was covered by some stations and some outlets. I don't believe yours was one of those that covered it. It was also covered in the news. If you go on Google, if you just Google Okigwe insecurity or Ihube insecurity, or you Google INEC REC Okigwe insecurity, all the stories are all on the major news outlet, newspaper outlets online. So it is something that was done in public. It wasn't hidden. She made it clear that they were having strong difficulties holding elections in Okigwe local government. And the result was that only a few places in Okigwe actually voted. The Okigwe township area, because Okigwe is an old colonial town. There's a township area where you have the non-indigents and a few indigents. So the Okigwe urban is called Urban Ward. Okigwe Urban Ward 1 and Urban Ward 2. Elections held, but the turnout was very, very low. But in the rural parts of Okigwe local government, there were no elections. So we were all surprised to see these figures. And when we had the hit of what was going on, we rushed to the collation center to find out that, we don't have agents in this area. Elections didn't take place in this area. But the army chased us away. They claimed they had orders from above. They chased us away. They used tear gas and dispersed everybody. So that gave them enough time to aid INEC and the APC to, finish up this hatchet job. And
so who finally won the local government?
Hello?
Who finally won the local government there?
The local government was won by the APC candidates. So basically, we have 6 local governments. Okigwe happens to be the 3rd largest local government, to be fair. But because of the insecurity, they don't have those kind of numbers. That's 1. 2, from 1999 till date, Okigwe local government has never voted more than 4,000 votes. The records are there across all elections. But for the purposes of this election, Okigwe voted 41,000 votes. And the manipulation now affected both the senatorial race, the House of Rep race, and the presidential race. For the purposes of the presidential race, my candidate, Mr. Obi scored 20,000 votes, while the candidates of the APC scored 18,000 votes.
So are you saying that the results were even manipulated in favor of your candidate and the candidate of the APC? Because a state that has never had 44,000 votes before all of a sudden. So are you saying they manipulate votes in favor of your own Labour Party candidate and the candidate of the APC?
Because there's a pattern. It's a pattern. There are 3 ballot papers. So there's no way whatever happens in the senatorial race won't affect the House of Rep race and the presidential race. So what I'm saying is, if you look at the pattern of voting in the whole states, you'll find out that there's no local government where the APC got more than 1,000 votes in the presidential. I would doubt. But in that particular local government, for the purposes of what they had to do in the senatorial race, the APC now scored 18,000 votes.
So what you're saying in very big is that for Kigwe, they just wrote, even the result they gave Labour was written because there were no 40-something thousand people there. There were no 20,000 people that voted for Labour. So just give Labour results, give APC results so that we look fair, right?
So for the purposes of the senatorial race, they wrote 2,000 votes for me, 40,000 votes for the APC candidates. And then the presidential race, they also wrote, I think, 20,000 for my presidential candidate. And then he, quote unquote, narrowly defeated the APC candidate who scored 19,000 votes in Okigwe local government. In a local government that the APC commissioner for sports didn't even come back to vote because his house was burnt 2 days to the elections. And he was ordered not to come home. So none of them came home. The candidate of the APC for the purposes of the senatorial elections barely came back home to vote for himself because of the insecurity in that area.
But you've taken all of this to election tribunal, right? And
yes.
Okay.
Yes, at the election petitions tribunal. And we've also filed a motion ex parte to have all the electoral materials inspected and all that. But what really hurts the most is when you see these things being aided by INEC, and the people who are aiding this criminality are Nigerians who are suffering everything that everybody is going through. And yet they come out boldly to aid these processes. Because even from a layman's point of view, it's almost a miracle for the APC to score 19,000 or 18. Almost mission impossible.
Okay. So, and the total votes, we lost that. I'll definitely call you back because we have 2 guests coming up. And the total votes scored there, just so. That's Ifeanyi Araru, was a senatorial candidate for Labour in the last elections. So let's see if we can get him back on the phone. But this is just to, get people's views and opinions. But very soon I'm also going to be calling a lawyer that filed a case in court, as regards the process. And let's see how this pans out as regards using PVCs and all of that. So this is a back-to-back bumper package for you guys. Great. I know you all want to call, but it is after we take all these calls. Okay, yeah, I got you back now. So you were saying that the sad thing is that the people that are doing this are Nigerians that are suffering. So that's how oppressed people behave. You think oppressed people have a clear thought of reason? No, they don't. So they just go with the flow.
Yeah, so the police who complain of inadequate welfare, salaries and all that. The army who complain of lack of equipment, salaries and welfare. Who should be neutral and allow the people's will prevail, now end up aiding those who they accuse of for welfare and all that. So it's quite shocking. I don't know how that's going to come out of this. I don't even know if Nigerians should be allowed to handle the subsequent elections, if it's something that we can probably give out to the Europeans or some, I don't believe that Nigerians should even have
if I don't go there,
elections in Nigeria.
if I don't go there, please, you know why I say so? The elections the Europeans held in 1959 was massively rigged. So as long as people have interest, we still need to learn to do it ourselves. That's why we need to build better institutions. The elections the Europeans had in 1959 in this country on the 12th of December was massively rigged. In fact, one of the top colonial officers came out to write a book recently, I forget his name now, and talked about how the British said, oh, there was no way the power was not going to go to certain sections of this country. Another person was going to do a deal with them, and they deliberately made it a hung parliament. So let's not even go to the British. They are not any better. In fact, they are the ones that taught us how to rig elections in this country. I speak the truth every day. But thank you so much, my brother, for your time.
Thank you.
Really appreciate
you
for your time.
All right. And good job. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right. Yeah. So let's go straight to it this morning. So I'm going to call my amiable lawyer and brother that took IMEC to court when he picks up, Barrister Victor Patola. I'm going to ring him up now on the phone. And
hello.
My brother, God bless you, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very good. Good morning, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm the only one that can bring you out of your Sunday schedule. Don't mind me. Sorry I'm disturbing you this Sunday. All right, so I've got Barrister Victor Patola. Barrister Victor, Patola made national news this week. He's one of the lawyers that took INEC to court over the need for people that didn't get their PVCs to be able to still vote. So I'd like to know what really happened. What was your case? When did you make the decision to take them to court?
Okay. What happened was what has been happening. A lot of persons who have fulfilled all legal requirements that somebody above the age of 18 is meant to fulfill. Then, after fulfilling such requirements, then he gets voter's card, then vote. But in recent times, actually, it has been a long while that instances where people register, but it will happen that, they won't be able to get their permanent voter's card. So recently, around January, February, thereabout, two persons, spoke to me, approached me in regards to their difficulties to get their permanent voter's card. Notwithstanding that they've registered to vote, they've gotten their temporary voter's card, they've gone to the PVC collection center a couple of times, and they still couldn't get it. So it became obvious that immediately after INEC closes the collection of PVC, that they will not be able to vote using that PVC. And the INEC chairman stipulated emphatically that you can only vote using your permanent voter's card. So this is why the plaintiffs went to court, and I represented them in court. So the fulcrum of our argument is the provisions of the Constitution and the Electoral Act. First of all, there is no portion of the Constitution or Electoral Act that stipulates the use or the superiority of the permanent voter's card over the temporary voter's card. There is no portion of the Electoral Act that makes that stipulation. So we argue, based on Section 47 of the Electoral Act and other portions of the Constitution and the Electoral Act, and the court held in our favor, stipulating emphatically that, now I'm quoting a part of the judgment now,
okay,
where the judge said that anybody who has gone through who has fulfilled all legal requirements stipulated by law should not and cannot be disenfranchised by INEC. The court even made use of some very, very serious and heavy words. Like, for instance, the court was saying that such a voter, should not be made to suffer disenfranchisement for the negligence and inefficiency or ineptitude of INEC in issuing permanent voters card. So that means because of the fact that the information on your permanent voters card and the temporary voters card is the same, then you can vote. And bearing in mind that the BVOS machine that we are using currently is not a machine that requires, the only difference between the permanent voters card and temporary voters card is the plastic nature of the permanent voters card.
Because it doesn't read any barcode like the card reader.
What do you say?
It doesn't read any barcode like the card reader.
No, it does actually, but the temporary voters card issued to, what's the name? Temporary voters card issued to people who registered between 2021 and, 2021 has a barcode on it. And this barcode, it can be scanned to identify the voter. But this is not the only way in which somebody who has registered and has his or her details in the INEC register of voters can be identified. Actually, there are three ways in which the beavers can verify a voter. Firstly, the beavers can verify a voter if the polling officer types the name of that intended voter. Then the details of that intended voter will come up in the beavers. The second way is if it finds the last few digits, that's the DIN number on the on the temporary voter card or permanent voter card. The details of the voter will come up. Then the third one is if it uses the barcode. I can see in the all previous in 2021, the name will be there. Let me just put it this way. The temporary voters card issued between 2021 has the barcode. The ones issued before 2021 has no barcode. But this does not mean that the ones that cannot be used to identify this and verify these voters, because it has their name. It has the few last digits of their so you can use their name to verify them. You can use their last few digits, the VIN number and the VIN. The code is not there. But for those who got their temporary voters card in 2021, thereabout, yes, the barcode is there. The VIN is there. So all these three things are complete. For those instances where the three things are complete, there are two things. Then before 2021, two things are there, their name and their VIN number. It can be used to call up their information on the paper, which they can be reached both. So the court heard in our favor and held that should be allowed to vote. Now, this is where it gets. I like to explain that there has been a little bit. There has been this issue around the fact that two persons are the only people that the court decided that they can vote using the temporary voter. Yes, it is true. But the principle is what we should look at. The principle.
Very good.
The judgment has stipulated is going by the provision of the Constitution, the Electoral Act, and the valid laws on election in Nigeria. Anybody who has fulfilled all legal requirements to vote contained in an INEC database and has been issued temporary voters card or have their temporary voters card should be unchecked due to the negligence of INEC or ineptitude of INEC to issue them a permanent voters card.
So, can I ask you a question? Sir? So, how can we make this a class action suit? Because people are talking about class action suit to be able to make it possible for because even the principle, but a lot of people keep saying, oh, the court just ruled just for two people. We all know that it's a principle that sets a precedence.
In law, equality is equity. So INEC does not have the powers to pick and choose whose right it will violate. voting in Nigeria is a right in this country. So far, that these people can vote using the temporary voters card. And the court has stipulated a principle of law to anybody. So far, this principle is valid. And a fundamental principle of also equality is equity. So INEC cannot pick and choose. There will be serious problem on election day if two people go to polling unit and use their temporary voters card to vote, while others are watching and can use their temporary voters card to vote. It's a serious issue. So what is important?
So, but why didn't you relief for all the Nigerians? Because the case is, INEC has also challenged you people in court back, and they say they are going back to court to vacate this order. Yeah. Why did the judge grant the third relief?
Okay. Now, first of all, as I'm talking to you right now, we have received no process, no legal process from INEC in regards to appeal. And now, first, in order to address now, the way appeal works, that INEC will file an appeal or go through an appeal process does until the court of appeal before it can be invalidated. Even if you start appeal on Monday, for instance now, even if you start appeal process on Monday, until there is a valid judgment, invalidating this judgment, that is the only ground that will nullify this judgment that we've gotten on the federal court. So, if you appeal, or the fact that you have filed an appeal, it is irrelevant to the judgment that has already been given until there is a judgment will not supersede the judgment of the lower court. So INEC saying it intends to file an appeal does not negate this agreement that we have currently. So now going to the issue of the reason why the court didn't give to make it general across board. What the court say, and if just give me a minute, because I want to quote quickly.
Yeah.
So explain what the court said. The line of the court when it said that this suit has not been brought in a representative, I said unable to grant any relief there are 3 of the plaintiff's application. Of judgment, it has not said that this judgment does not apply to everybody. As a matter of portions of the judgment, emphatically stipulated that anybody who has fulfilled the requirement of the law and has their temporary voters card and deny them their permanent voters card is entitled to vote. But the court says that because this particular matter is not as representative capacity. Now, for instance, what it meant is that these two people are not saying that pursuing on behalf of Nigerians. One at the temporary voters card. There. But there is no place. Two things I would like to tell. There's no place in the judgment that states that this particular one be used by other individuals to vote using their temporary voters card. Like I said earlier on, equality.
Okay. So, thank you so much. One thing is certain, I'll still have to come back and interview you as time goes on and as they proceed on even the appeal and see how it plays out. One, the judgment, the entire judgment that was shared with me, I shared it on my Twitter page. I've got over 530,000 followers on Twitter, and it's out there. So I've shared it on my Twitter page, about 22 pages of the entire judgment. So Nigerians can have a full throttle there on my Twitter page at RUFAI. But thank you so much, Barrister. Really appreciate it.
If I just end, okay, I would just like to speak very briefly. You can actually, use this judgment to vote.
Okay.
You can. It's okay. This as enunciated.
Okay, so Nigerians that don't have their PVCs can use this judgment to vote.
I make now to pollute or not necessary rank call at the polling unit.
Thank you so much for this. All right, thank you so much for this. Thank you, guys. We'll still have long-lasting conversations as regards this. Bless you all, for this.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's Barrister. So was the lawyer that took INEC to court that was representing his clients that said they only had temporary voters card and they didn't allow them votes, and he that made the news in the course of last week. So let's see how it pans out coming days. I mean, conversations are bound. The full judgments I've shared on my Twitter page. If you go and check my tweets from 2 or 3 tweets, you see I just took the picture of them and I put the full judgments, out there. We've got tons and tons of people trying to call us in. Can we take one or play that message again, that powerful message? It's out there. I've also shared it on my Twitter. It's on YouTube too, but people said we should play it again while they listen live. So you can go search. It's called The Search for the Truth. It's also on my podcast and my Twitter page. All right, you can just go there, check it at RUFAI, and you'll get the link to my podcast on my Twitter page, and it's out there across board. So you go there, go check it again, and maybe I'll just play it up. Yeah, start to wrap things up. So hit me up if you still have the chance. So I just go ahead to playing it all over. 03903 So I've shared it out there on RUFAI Speaks podcast. There's also the YouTube page on VOP. So you listen to the entire show once again. All right. Okay. So I'll take a couple of questions.
Hello.
Bless you.
Hello.
I can hear you. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Chris. I'm calling from Ajao. Mr. Rufa, I'm very happy and I appreciate you a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, you at least you have said people have in democracy. Even no matter whatsoever that happen now, we still believe we have people that knows about it, and that even next time, even if next time it can never be like this. At least you have learned something. So I appreciate you so much. That is the reason why I called you, and I'm very happy.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. All right, a lot of calls still coming in. 0700 903 0700 903 903 903. Goodness me, I got a couple of calls just. Okay, yes, I got this one. Hello, how are you? Hello. Hello? Oh, okay, we lost that. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Bless you, how's it going? Yes, Charles, great to have you.
I'm calling for more
Good. Talk to me.
Going to take control about this our election.
Yes, sir.
So that to take care of the
I'm sorry, I have to let you go. Oh, Jesus Christ, that was banging in my ears. Let that go. Apologies. Hello, how are you? Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, good to talk to you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Darlington O'Mara. I'm calling from honestly.
UK and Belgium people are plenty today.
Honestly, throughout this election, I've been watching program Arise show. You in particular, you and Dr. Abate has been, honestly, you guys have been doing so well. Most of all, in Nigerian, news, monitoring every situation that is happening there. All kudos to you, all salute to you, your courage. Many of us left Nigeria because we gave up that the system can't change. And you guys are restoring hope. And we fighting back also, giving moral support to you guys, hoping that things will turn out. The election that, happened was that things can be done. But my problem is, in a situation whereby these people have their people, in the courts, everywhere, how can justice prevail? This can't body. And, I wonder, they say we shouldn't use violence. Me, I don't like violence. But these people have already, everywhere that we can't even breathe anymore. So how can we restore this great?
Two things to keep doing. So let me start. You see, the greatest revolution has always been a revolution of the mind. So any point, any place you are, keep educating people around you as regards things to run. And also, by extension, people you have back home. Secondly, keep amplifying voices. When you see evil, speak up. Third, all right, keep believing and keep hope alive. Because you see, you can't win a violent person with violence. All right?
It's true.
So all you need to do is keep amplifying your voices. Before you know it, the structures of violence and evil starts to crack. So when people get educated, they can demand more. And that's all I do through media. So we have to keep educating.
Oh, thank you.
Things they want to take from you, they will take your hope. Because once they know that once you stop believing, once you stop coping, you will stop thinking about it and you will stop about it. Secondly, they want to take media from you. And how do they do it? They will do it by trying to discredit you. That's why you see there's a constant assault to discredit. Here. Thirdly,
we all know that. We know.
So thirdly, they'll try as much as possible, to take your mind. You have to keep assaulting the problem with positive thinking. Once you do that, things will happen. It's not going to happen in a quick dash. It's going to happen someday.
Definitely.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you for your strong word, and honestly, you are an inspiration to us. We will prepare in Jesus' name, I pray.
Amen.
Thank you so much for your strong.
Man, not fellows like that UK cold, that Belgium cold.
No, I don't like it.
My Nigeria, and I hear.
I
hear particularly now it's very, very cold. There's been a cold snap recently, so it's so cold now.
It's snowing right now.
What's it called? Autumn is supposed to be coming in small. It's springtime is supposed to be coming in small. It's pretty snowy. So we just have to keep.
Our politicians, they have their children here, and they are not even doing anything. Many of them are not working. They keep sending a lot of pound in this country, to make them happy. Using poor masses' money, poor masses, sweat to, make their families all right here. And they come and see how the system is working. They don't want to implement the same system, back to our country.
We'll keep pushing.
It's a very big shame.
We'll keep pushing. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you?
Hello. Good morning, Mr. RUFAI.
Bless you.
I'm calling from First Talk.
Good.
I'm only calling to tell you, please keep your good work. We're all praying for you. Your protection will be highly blessed. Nobody will touch you.
Amen.
You are the best and the only person making things work for Nigeria. I'm only calling for that. God will bless you. I watch your program from morning till night. Anywhere you go, I watch you. You are the greatest or the greatest.
God is the greatest, though. Bless you. I appreciate you. So.
You are the greatest among we humans for what you're doing. God is the greatest.
Yes.
So we accept you. You are the best.
Thank
God bless you. Keep doing it.
Thank you.
God will touch you. God bless you.
Bless you so much. Bless
Have a nice day. Thank you.
And you too. Bless you so much. I mean, we just have to keep talking about these things. So I got to wrap up now, and tons and tons of calls are coming in. But Jesus Christ, I got to wrap up now. So I'll play some bits of it again, but you can get it on YouTube. You can get it across every platform possible. But thank you guys so much. Bless you. Bless you guys. Really appreciate each and every one of you. That's it for today. One of the men featured in that special package aspiring to lead Lagos, Gbadebo Rosevival, Labour Party governorship for Lagos State, joins us now in the studio.
Morning.
I mean, it's okay to say GRV, right?
It's okay. Either way.
Okay.
GRV.
Oh, Governor Rosevival.
I like that too.
Good morning.
A few more days.
Yes.
All right, good morning. Good to have you again. It's always, a pleasure to speak with you. Start this interview with. One is to assess the import of the extension by INEC. Is that your advantage, or does it mean that you will need to spend money and more resources and more energy reaching across? And then secondly, I see that you are seizing the momentum. You were in Ekpe yesterday at a few other places. But then the report was that there was an attack, and indeed some of your guys. Were you the target? Is this about what Body Judge was talking about, that you might be?
Yes, there have been a lot of threats. There have been a lot of, we've gotten a lot of potential assassination attempts on my life. Yesterday in Itako, in Ekpe, we had Honorable Wale Oluo with us. We also had Honorable Najim from the PDP. And they were also shot at, right, in Ekpe yesterday. And there was a lot of anger amongst the APC youth who were there, because they were, these people were wearing Greater Rising t-shirts, so we are not speculating. They were APC. And the idea is we need to move away from this bureaucracy that Lagos State has come to be defined as, where violence and vitriol and anger and suppression and intimidation. If you do your job, you should not have to intimidate people in relation to how they want to vote, right? But for us, the journey was a beautiful one. People came out in droves. They were happy to see us. There was joy on their faces. There was hope on their faces. And that's what we're doing, In relation to moving the date of the elections, for me, since the first day I came here, I said our strategy has always been the search strategy. And I'm in that search now. So whether I extend it for another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, doesn't matter to me. That surge and momentum is going to keep building and building. But lastly, it's very important that the data from BVAS is properly taken out before it is reset or reconfigured, whatever they want to term it as, so that Peter will stand the best chance in court with the data. Because we've seen our original results. We have our original polling unit results, and we know that we won Lagos to 900,000 votes. APC's 160-something thousand votes. That's what our PE results are telling us. And the situation of the PDP is saying the same. So we need, if I have to wait for another month for that process to come out, I don't mind. But we must give those presidential candidates the best possible. We must put them in terms of evidence, in terms of data, in terms of the reality of what happened on that day.
Yeah, well, we understand that your party has, probably called for a nationwide peaceful protest because INEC has refused to give Peter Obi access to, the BVAS as well. I'd love for you to touch on that. You feel threatened. I want you to paint a graphic picture to our audience on what exactly happened yesterday.
So as our convoy was moving out, a lot of young men came out and tried to block the road, right? And obviously we cannot go in because we had quite a lot of force with us in terms of police. And yet police were with us. And it was very important that we did not show any force. Because what will then happen is, as they are trying to propagandize Igbadebo to do now say, I'm trying to take over Ekpe and I'm using guns and all of that. So we had the police go in there and talk and try to allay everything, and DSS was also very helpful to visualize the situation. They shoot at us, right? And they did try to intimidate us.
Were you on the bus and they were shooting at you, or were you
I was,
below?
so the great thing that we had was that the DSS knew, they could see it coming. They went ahead, they took me down from the, bumped me back down, and they said there's a threat in front, we're going to neutralize the threat. And then as we're going there, we had gunshots in the air.
So do you feel safe in Lagos now? Because I know that you also said that when your administration comes into power, you're going to, I don't know how that would happen.
Because we're going to try. I mean, look at that young man that was talking, even when the APC came. What did he ask for? Yes, he asked for jobs. And I keep saying these things. A lot of these guys, they're behaving like this because they feel their lifeline will be taken away from them. And that lifeline is a situation of just taking. You know, not necessarily working or being productive, but the state government can just seize, almost like the strong arm of a mafia, of a mafia's sort of structure. What we are saying is, we're going to give you the skills to work, and we're going to create work for you, right? And if you are ready to work, you have jobs. But if you want to continue doing this whole monkey work, baboon, the chop, there's no place for you in Lagos State. And I say that on my chest. I've said this for a long time. Lagos State, the 10 containers that come to Lagos leave empty. With our population increasing the way it is increasing, we must have a productive population. If not, it's just going to be, we're sitting on a keg of gunpowder, especially in terms of security. And Lagos State needs to be secure if we're going to grow the way we're supposed to grow, attract tourists, attract investors to come in here, and become a 24-hour city. Lagos State needs to be safe.
Okay.
Before you go ahead, I'd love for that, for you to analyze your party's call for a nationwide peaceful protest if the results are not given to your presidential candidate. When do you guys plan on organizing?
As long as PO and the leadership, our national chairman gives the instruction, then we'll do it.